There's a chance you're watching this on Christmas or Christmas Eve. If that's the case, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. I hope you're having a wonderful time. If you don't celebrate, that's okay. Give yourself a day off. Take a breather. You deserve it. The other day, I watched the Chainsaw Man Reze movie. Finally, it's out on digital. I did not have the opportunity to see it in cinemas. It was nowhere near me. I've been waiting for this movie for quite some time, and I've been very much excited for it, but also not really knowing what to expect. There's a lot of talent and pedigree involved with this production. Still, I didn't really know what I was getting myself into. I knew I'd have fun with it. I knew it'd be great, but little did I expect it would be one of the best movies that I've watched all year. Maybe even one of the best movies I've seen in years. So much so that originally I was going to do something else for a video for it. I recorded like 3 different versions of like analysis and breakdowns and this and that, and kind of going through all of these other things, and they all felt wrong. They felt weird. At the time, I didn't really know why, so I sat on it for a couple of days until I got to now. Where I realized what I was missing is that as much as I love this movie and I enjoyed talking about it in an analytical, breaking it down, all these finer details, I guess, it felt like I was missing out on the love for the film, the purpose, the experience that I had. So with that in mind, I thought this would be more appropriate. I want to sit here and talk about the film, how much I love it, appreciate it, and everything in between. When I say that this movie is an experience, a visual treat, music mastery, it is putting it lightly. There is so much talent, so much energy, so much raw authenticity in every single department that has worked on this movie. And it's not like I haven't seen anime movies before. They're fantastic. They elevate the experience tenfold, but there was something about the Chainsaw Man Reze movie that just done something to me. It hit different. It rewired my chemistry. And for me, that is the biggest, brightest, the top compliment I can ever give something. That if it hits me fundamentally on a chemistry altering level. The only other recent movie that has rewired my chemistry as well is, funny enough, Look Back by Tatsuki Fujimoto. Automatically you might think, I'm a big Chainsaw Man fan, I love Fujimoto's works, his one-shots, etc, etc. You're not wrong. But I don't think this has anything to do with blind love. I went into this wanting to watch a good film, and what I got out of it was something so incredibly special. For me, there's so many different parts of this movie that I love. Of course, the 2 biggest ones are Denji and Reze, because really it's their film, but there's a bunch of other stuff in there that doesn't really get the spotlight, but can still be very wholly loved. For example, the very small amount of power that we get in the film. Her character is so lovable. She's so creative and crafty and energetic, and she honestly steals a lot of the spotlight. You could have 50 characters on screen, but she pulls so much attention that it's hard to break away from her. I'm always happy to get her on screen because the voice acting performance is impeccable. The energy around her character, the animation that follows her, everything about her depiction is flawless. Sadly, we don't get much, but she will have a very massive role in the following season. If you know what happens, I'm very nervous about it, but nonetheless excited. Another example is Aki and Angel, their relationship, how they're connected within the story. It's very uncomfortable. Their characters don't really mesh well. They have a bit of a tension between them, but I find that tension oddly beautiful. You can see it being twisted and contorted and really pushed to their limits with each other. Seeing Aki trying to navigate around Angel, it's like playing a game. He doesn't know how to do it, he doesn't know where to go or what to say, what's right or what's wrong, so it feels like, from a viewing experience, that he's just winging it. Genuinely just doing whatever he wants, not trying to min-max their relationship. And even though they are technically partners, there's moments where you can see a small amount of breakthrough actually happen. The movie doesn't spend a lot of time focusing on them, but when it does, it feels very worthwhile. You're getting a lot more than the allocated small amount of time that's there. Later on within the movie, there's a very powerful moment that feels almost entirely subtle. It's grand and obnoxious and out there, but because of the small interactions that they have, it's personal and emotional and intricate to them specifically. They're these tiny little creatures in this much larger experience that's going on. A war between Chainsaw Man and Reze. They're caught within it, trying to survive, and you see this very overly human side directed towards Angel. A very beautiful moment. I think they touched on it just enough to where you care about it, where you can love it, but they didn't give all too much away. They didn't explore it in the most crucial of details. The bread and butter, however, of this movie is obviously the relationship between Chainsaw Man, Denji, as well as Reze, the bomb devil. Let me tell you, how they have handled this from start to finish is downright exceptional, downright mind-meltingly amazing. On a technical level, it feels like it's paced perfectly. On an emotional level, it feels so voluptuous and with so much texture and heart and soul. On an animation level, it feels gloriously insane because the first half of the film is like this sweet, beautiful, and sensitive expressions, and then the last 40 minutes of the film is like the craziest high-octane action you've ever witnessed. And it's so consistent, it's so lovable, it's weaved together so perfectly. The balance is to die for. Narratively is where I fall in love with this, because this is a story in the manga that goes rather rapidly. It's still just as entertaining, it's still beautiful, but they have elevated it so much. They've taken the source material and just fueled it with crack and have turned it into something addicting. Like there's times where I want to go back and just watch certain scenes because of how the music's used, or because of how the voice acting comes across, or how beautiful the animation is, or how soulful or heartbreaking or touching this moment is. It's incredible. You cannot get it out of your mind. Seeing Fujimoto's writing come out and explored in such a way feels like the perfect gift to him. Like they're doing his writing justice. They're doing his characters justice. And as a fan, that's all you can ever really ask for. That someone as passionate as Fujimoto, as passionate for these characters, as passionate for this story, do right by it. I adore Denji and Reze's relationship. They're so playful, they're so chaotic, they're so perfect for each other. The first half is this beautiful unraveling and understanding of like Denji's personality, and then you're learning about Reze and like who she is, but she's very mysterious, but also very sweet and innocent and playful, and showing Denji this genuine happiness. And that's kind of the biggest selling point for this relationship, is genuine. Not only because you get the twist later, what she's actually doing, but also because of what Denji's been through. Everything that Denji's experienced as a child to even the stuff with Makima now is not genuine. It's trauma-filled, it's brutal, it's heartbreaking. No one should have to experience the life that he's experienced. When you see him love these very small and innocent things, sleeping in a bed or having a shower or eating breakfast or even having friends, they're all normal and no one would ever question that, but he values it so highly. So when you see him take that feeling further, when something is presented to him in what feels like the most genuine way possible, Reze's relationship, her friendship, her companionship, her love, her interest, he dials in. I really enjoy how they've approached both characters dynamically. Like they work so beautifully with each other, of course, but Denji is very intricate in this film. He's very self-reflective. He finds himself tripping over his mind and his emotions and really trying to reel himself back, because on one side he's a little bit scared, and then on the other side he doesn't want to betray Makima, but then on another side he loves this genuine presentation that Reze is giving to him, and he just feels so bubbly. But then there's also this level of goofiness that comes with Denji's character that you can't help but just cherish. Like he's so whimsy and innocent. There's a moment in the film where Reze tells him to go back to the coffee shop, and you follow Reze going back to the coffee shop and he's already there. It's a funny little thing because you know damn well he sprinted to that store. Reze's betrayal is breathtaking. Like what a phenomenal way to do her character justice. It's elevated so well by the music selection and the VA work, but they also treat her in a playful way. Like the first half, she's doing all these goofy things and she's incredibly playful. The school scene's gorgeous. It's a fun time and it feels like teenagers going out and having fun and building that early friendship, lovingly bond. Denji being unsure and a little bit nervous, and then Reze being fun and showing him all of these different things. It's an experience that they're sharing together that feels so genuine. That connection, that dynamic, the power that they build between each other, it's electrifying. There is peak moments, stuff where it crescendos into this masterclass of just overwhelming experience, overwhelming emotion. The first one is the pool scene, which I'm sure every single person that watches this film, that you've watched talk about this film, will talk about it. Truthfully, it is, I think, one of my favorite scenes in a very long time. The way the music rolls in, how they're showing the characters, how sensitive and intimate it feels, but also fun and free and liberating. It's such a joyful time, but it has this very eerie and slight odd undertone of something tragic going on. But you don't know what that is, you can't pin it directly. So you're just watching them have fun and this beautiful showcase of animation and this lovingly music. It's just a very soul-fulfilling moment. I can almost guarantee my feelings for that scene will last for many, many years to come. I don't think I could ever forget about it and its impact. There is a couple of things that the movie does that surprises me, however, and I think they handled it really well. There is a couple of moments where the tone of the story jumps rather drastically. Not only does this help bridge the first half of the story into the second half of the story, especially with Reze, but it also reminds you as a viewer that this is Chainsaw Man. This is Tatsuki Fujimoto. Do not forget that. Those tonal scenes are horrifying. Like, I knew they were going to be in there, but I did not think they would elevate it that way. The serial killer moment where he's having a conversation with Typhoon, slaughtering someone in the background and like just hearing people scream, it is gross, but so visually powerful. And it works really well to create that disconnect between different segments of the film. Because from there you dive into Reze's real purpose, who she is, the character that she is. I love the moment when she's singing the Russian song, which gives you way more context for her character and like where she comes from and who she is and why she is the way that she is. But it also helps later on within the film towards the ending as recontextualization. The reason she is the way that she is was something out of her control. However, the relationship that she's building with Denji is actually genuine and something that she's thinking about quite heavily, putting her own autonomy and agency back into the front. Something that is implied that has been put within the back seat for a very long time. Not only can she thank herself for growing out of it and healing and experiencing new things, but she can thank Denji as well and the relationship that they both have. It's still traumatizing. It's still grief-stricken. It doesn't erase all the wrongs, but there is a mutual understanding between them. There is a bridge and a connection that they've built where she feels confident to step out on her own now, to become potentially one with Denji, to actually pursue a genuine relationship, to escape and run away with him, giving back her own agency and her own freedom. Again, this is Chainsaw Man and this is Tatsuki Fujimoto. Things do not always end well. I'll say the final half of the film is some of the best action sequences I've seen in a long time. And look, I'm not trying to play a game of comparisons. You like what you like, you hate what you hate, but there's like 40 to 50 genuine minutes of just straight animation glory. So many different styles, so many different perspectives, so many different sequences and events with so much different variety and ranges. It is insane what they were able to accomplish over those final 50 minutes. And it flows together beautifully, almost eerily perfectly. They segment it as well in a really fascinating way by location. So depending on the type of location that they're fighting with, the type of animation style will change, the type of music will change, the approach towards its direction will change. It's really fascinating to watch because every handful of minutes, you're changing. You're going into something else. You're about to experience something new. They don't hold back at all. Reze is a monster. The explosions, the dress design, her character, the fun she has in some moments, the horror that she provides in another. It is the most beautiful, perfect balance I have seen for a character. What a way to handle her, honestly. It's funny too because you're locked into your seat. You ain't taking your eyes off that film, you're watching it every single inch in detail. You might even struggle to blink. And she truly is the spotlight of this animation. Don't get me wrong, Denji, Chainsaw Man, Beam, they're doing funny, amazing things. They're going crazy, but Reze truly is that shining, explosive star. It's so addicting to watch all of those action scenes. I love how massive it gets, how grand it gets. Typhoon comes in and messes up the whole thing as well. They slice in the Aki and Angel situation in there. There's a moment where Reze attacks the public safety office and it just turns into peak horror, or the fun and whimsical side of Denji and Beam and their relationship, because it's funny to watch them fight and it is genuinely amazing. But I do have a favorite section. It is the building skyrise section. Basically, when the fight transfers inside of like this big building, stuff gets weird. And it's such a really cool sequence because Reze comes sliding in and then it like slow-mo's her sliding into the scene. All these things go flying behind her and it explodes. And then from that point on, it is genuine chaos. If you can't tell, just talking about it, thinking about it, I have this massive grin on my face. Like, it's such a fun time. Even if you're not a fan of Chainsaw Man, even if you've never read Chainsaw Man or watched it, just watch this film. No context, you'll still have a great time with it. Sure, you might not really understand anything. The movie kind of works as like its own little slice of independent film, but really, to get the context, to get the importance, to get the value of all of these things going on, you need to understand Chainsaw Man, you need to watch the first season, or at least read the manga. That's how you're going to get the best experience out of this, for sure. But it's not impossible if you don't want to do any of that. The ending of this film is a memorable one because it's horrifying. It's sad, it's gross, it's powerful and tragic. Seeing Reze click over and make this decision to go for Denji, only to get confronted by a literal monster. Oof. I was always curious how they're going to showcase that encounter. They knocked it out the park. It is horrifying, to say the least. It is a beautifully crafted, like, heartbreaking scene, and one that is so memorable, like, you will not forget it. I remember sitting there after the film and just being like, wow, like, what an experience this was. An hour and 40 minutes, peak Chainsaw Man, peak characters, peak everything. Every single person that has touched this movie deserve the world. They deserve anything and everything that they have wanted. Take all of those brilliant people and allow them to do the second season, or at least help with it or guide it or something, because we need that energy. This film means a lot to me, and I think it will mean a lot to you as well. Because of that, I would love to hear your thoughts on it. What are some of your favorite moments, favorite depictions, favorite scenes? Like, how do you feel about this film? And if for whatever reason you haven't seen it and you've made it this far, stop what you're doing, go and watch the film, go and indulge it. I promise you will absolutely love it.